But before we dive into our review, give us a thumbs up if you like our video, subscribe to the channel, and if you want to support the channel, you can buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/cinemagold. Your support helps the channel grow, upgrade our equipment, bring in new hosts, be able to pay them. Without further ado, let's dive right in. Plane is just the latest action thriller starring Gerard Butler. And while the audiences may be confused with the trailer, the movie proves to be a well-crafted and enjoyable tale of a plane trip gone wrong, and the subsequent escape from a Filipino jungle teeming with militants. Though marketed as a high-octane action film, Plane starts off with a measured and process-oriented approach, similar to Paul Greengrass's United 93. The film's focus on the mundane details of the plane and its passengers makes for an engrossing experience. Despite its B-movie budget, this attention to detail sets the stage for the unexpected turn of events that follows, as the audience is drawn into the story and the tension builds. The unexpected turn of events comes when the vessel's captain, Brody Torrance, must deal with a dangerous prisoner on board. Louis Gaspar, played by Mike Coulter, is being extradited from Torrance's home base of Singapore back to the US because he's wanted for murder. The presence of a dangerous criminal on board adds a layer of drama to the story, and it becomes clear that something is bound to go terribly wrong. The audience is left wondering how the situation will unfold as Torrance tries to make it to his teenage daughter in Hawaii in time for the new year. This plot point also serves to explain why there are only a dozen passengers on board, making for a more streamlined plot and production. The major issue that eventually leads to the plane's emergency landing on the Philippine island of Jolo is a stroke of bad luck coupled with some shoddy maintenance, leaving Trailblazer Airlines Flight 119 vulnerable to the elements. The result is distinctly Lost-esque turbulence and an emergency landing on the Philippine island, shot mostly in Puerto Rico. As with J.J. Abrams' Lost pilot, the air marshal escorting the handcuffed prisoner ends up incapacitated, and the surviving crew and passengers are left radioless and are forced to ration their food. This situation leads to a survival story that keeps the audience on the edge of their seats as the characters are forced to navigate their way through an unknown and dangerous environment. But unlike Lost's assortment of ghosts and smoke monsters, Plane's villainous forces are much easier to parse. They are human militants who have a penchant for kidnapping foreigners. The audience is introduced to these forces early on as the plane crashes in their territory, and the characters are forced to deal with them in order to survive. However, their motives remain as mysterious as any of Abrams' mystery box baddies. The real Jolo is a stronghold for Abu Sayyaf, a Southeast Asian ISIS offshoot, but you need no working knowledge of the region to decipher anything of that sort. The film's geopolitics never come close to being explicit, which makes it all the stranger when the image-conscious Trailblazer inexplicably sends its own team of private mercenaries to help rescue the survivors and avoid a PR disaster. It's an implicit West versus Asian other framework emerges, more specifically West versus Islamic terror, if you're familiar with the kidnappings and brutal killings. And it becomes all the more pronounced when it turns out that both the Scotsman Torrance and American Gaspar, who venture into the jungle for help and end up armed to the teeth, have early 2000s military backgrounds of their own. But reality is rarely important in the film, which turns its militants into two-dimensional video game henchmen, who deserve to be dispensed with by virtue of an inherent ruthlessness that threatens the Western passengers. It would be one thing if this were the basis for a ferocious or blood-soaked beat-em-up with ridiculous slayings, but Plane stays grounded in its story and characters, offering a thrilling and engaging experience. In conclusion, Plane is a well-crafted and enjoyable action thriller that offers a unique take on the survival genre. The attention to detail in the beginning of the film sets the stage for an unexpected and thrilling story. The characters are well developed, and the audience is drawn into their plight as they are forced to navigate a dangerous and unknown environment. The villainous forces are easy to parse, and their motives remain mysterious, adding an extra layer of tension to the story. Although the film may not delve deeply into the geopolitical issues surrounding the location of the story, it still provides an engaging and thrilling experience that keeps the audiences on the edge of their seats. Overall, it's a solid action thriller that offers a unique take on the survival genre, and it's definitely worth a watch. And before we move on, I'm going to give it 3 stars out of 5. Let us know your thoughts on Plane in the comments section below. Have you seen it? How many stars would you give it? And now on to our next review of Missing.